What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Drive for Show, DFS for Dough, here on RotoGrinders. Talking golf, as usual, live on Tuesday evenings, and we've got a major championship this week with the PGA Championship on the calendar here with its new home that it has been for the last several years now in the month of May. So we'll break that down for you tonight. I am Justin Van Zuiden, STL Cardinals 84. I've got Mr. Derek Farnsworth, a.k.a. Notorious, alongside. And Noto, how's your week been?
Yeah, good week. Happy major championship week. The PGA Championship's kind of come a long way. You know, kind of used to be the little brother to the other majors, and new spot in the schedule, some new venues, and some tougher, scoring conditions. And now it's just like the other three, pretty much.
Yeah, it still feels like, maybe a little bit less excitement in the air, if you will, compared to like the Masters, but definitely a little bit more. And I think part of it's because we only get to see the live guys, a handful of times. So nice to see those guys back in the mix and playing this week. And should be a whole lot of fun. So if we take a quick look back to last week at the Wells Fargo Championship before we turn it over to a new week. Pretty remarkable tournament from Rory McIlroy. At one point on Sunday, he was ahead by a touchdown with the extra point. He was up 7 at one point, and he was 10 ahead of everybody else in the field. Ended up winning by 5 over Xander Schauffele, by 8 over Benny On, and by 11 over everybody else. And just a reminder that Rory can still dominate a golf tournament when he brings his A game. And Schauffele, hasn't had a lot of good fortune in terms of winning lately. And he would have put in a great performance if not for Rory there. Everybody would have been talking about what a great week he had. So two pretty standout performances there in a smaller field, but loaded field last week. And I don't think there would have been a whole lot of guys beating Rory last week. So nice reminder from him that he still exists and capable of dominating when he brings his A game.
Yeah, when he gets that bounce in his step, very few people that can beat him. Granted, Scotty Scheffler wasn't in the field, so it's a little bit of a different beast than Xander. But I was kicking myself earlier in the week for not betting Xander. I mean, my model told me to, and I was like, nope, I've been there too many times on Sunday. Have him finish second, and that's exactly what he did. So kind of glad I didn't end up having to endure that pain once again. And yeah, overall, like the golf course, like the event. I wish I had a cut, but that's probably a debate for another day.
Yeah, so I agree on, wishing those were full field events, but discussion for another day for sure. And it was pretty much a 2-horse race there by the time we got to, the first few holes on Sunday. It was pretty clear that it was just going to be Rory and Xander, and then Rory kind of ended up pulling away there. So anything else as far as takeaways from last week? Obviously, with no cut, there wasn't big names missing the cut or anything like that. If I scroll down here to the bottom of the leaderboard, I know Eric Cole got some social media buzz as he shot a couple of really bad rounds there. Will Zalatoris had a tough week 9 over on Sunday, knocked him all the way down the leaderboard, but there was a lot of pretty rough rounds out there on Sunday. But any other takeaways from the week for you?
No major takeaways. Did you see our boy Chris Gotterup got the win?
Yes.
At Myrtle. That was kind of cool. So hopefully that'll secure his card for a little while.
Yeah, he won there was an alternate field event last week, and Gotterup won that. So cool to see him playing well. I wish that would happen in a tournament where I rostered him in the past, but we'll maybe get some more chances to do that going forward. So, all right, let's turn the page. Not a whole lot else to look back on from last week. And obviously we've got a major this week, and the PGA Championship is one of those, I don't want to say weird, but different type of majors in that it rotates courses every year. So, that's a common theme for the Open Championship and the U.S. Open as well. It's really the Masters that's played on the same course every year, the Players, if you consider that a major, but most of the majors do kind of use a course rotation. So Valhalla will host the PGA Championship this year, hasn't hosted since 2014. So 10 years ago was the last time this course hosted, and ironically, that was won by Rory McIlroy 10 years ago. So what do we know so far, at least as you're starting to dig in this week, about the course?
Yeah, so we obviously don't have as much data as we do for most courses on the PGA Tour since it does switch locations. But he did par 71, 7,600 yards, Jack Nicklaus design. The greens here pretty small, feature bent grass. They probably should be pretty fast on the stim meter. The fairways aren't overly narrow, but you do want to keep it in the short grass if you can. The rough's going to be like 4 inches thick, and it's a mix of bent and fescue, so it's going to be difficult to hit out of. Plus, it looked like we could get some rain early in the week, middle of the week, late in the week. The forecast is kind of up in the air at the moment, but could make the course play even longer. All the par threes are over 190 yards. 6 of the par fours are over 470 yards. So this is a typical PGA Championship, U.S. Open style course where you want to hit it long, you want to hit it straight, you want to be able to play out of the rough, and then just minimize mistakes where you can. So, I'm looking at bombers. I'm looking at guys that are good at majors, good and strong fields, that kind of stuff. Anything to add?
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good synopsis. I am focusing a lot on the off the tee metrics this week. I just think with how long the course is, if you can keep it straight and you can hit a long way off the tee, you're going to be at a pretty big advantage over the field. So good drive percentage, total driving distance, whichever off the tee, or just simply strokes gained off the tee if you want it a little bit more simplistic. I think those are just fine to look at this week. Obviously, don't put a whole lot of stock in just history at this specific tournament because it hasn't been played here for 10 years. But obviously, if you want to go after major championship experience, then, of course, that's something you can look at as well. So let's see. Anything else you can think of, or are you ready to dive on in here?
This is the question for the expert survey, but what is your favorite storyline? We got, Rory with the divorce news and also looking for his third win in a row. You got Speed looking for the career Grand Slam, the return of Blocky. I'm excited for that one myself. I think he's in a featured group I saw, which is kind of funny. You got Brooks going for his third back-to-back major win. Lots of good stuff.
There's no way that he's in a featured group that's like the full. He's in the first group off the tee.
Okay,
so
maybe it was a joke. I haven't looked
at it's Michael Block, Luke Donald, and Sean McKeel. So if that is a featured group, we've got a problem.
Maybe they're saving it for Friday afternoon, putting him in the prime window.
Prime time. Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be Scheffler with the baby. He's been the biggest storyline in golf this year just from the way he's played. News came out that they had a baby boy named Bennett that was born a week ago tomorrow. So, I mean, we both have kids, and it's it's got to be a little bit of a challenge. And 6-day-old baby that I don't know. There's just got to be a little bit more mental fatigue heading into a tournament. But he's basically a robot on the golf course at this point. So I just think how hopefully they don't overplay it on TV and talk about it all the time. But to me, Spieth Grand Slam, he's not going to do it, so I don't care about that. Rory with the divorce, obviously, and the wins, obviously didn't affect him on the golf course last week. So, yeah, I'm not. I go for Scheffler baby narrative. How about you?
I mean, if Blocky just makes the cut, it's going to be a crazy weekend. So that's what I'm rooting for. And then in our Twitter bubble, I don't know what was up, but everyone was freaking out about Scheffler had the baby, and some people knew and some people didn't, and nobody was going to tell anyone. It's really weird.
That was a very strange dynamic, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I get it. Wanting to be someone, he seems like a pretty private guy, so I don't know. But yeah, that seems like everybody's got confirmation now that the baby was born on the 8th. So congratulations to them. All right, let's go ahead and dig in. And probably the first time in a while, I think that maybe the first time ever that we've had 8 golfers in the 5 digits on DraftKings for salary. And there are quite a few options at the bottom. Obviously, this is a tournament where you got a lot of club pros in the tournament and stuff like that. So it does skew the pricing just a little bit, but there's some options in the 6Ks that are viable. So the fact that, Scheffler's all the way at 13.2, Rory's at 12K, Rahm at 11.4, Schauffele at 10.9. And, maybe we cut it off at those top four, maybe throw Brooks in there if you want, top 4 or 5, or maybe just Scheffler and Rory deserve a conversation of their own. How are you handling that top group this week?
Yeah, it's hard to separate them. I haven't started constructing lineups for single entry stuff, so I don't know where I'm going to start just yet. But man, Scheffler, win-win, second win-win. His last 5 starts, he's the best in the field on majors, on long, difficult courses, and strong fields. So, yeah, other than the baby narrative, there's no holes to poke in his game. Rory's been, really good. Got the team win where, he carried Lowry and then won last week. It looked awesome on Sunday. Obviously, he's won here before. So I don't have anything bad to say about them. I think they're both strong options. The guys that I'm fine crossing off my list, Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay. I know Morikawa, you've been on him recently. He's had some good finishes. But, man, he's lost on approach in 6 of his last 7. Not a bomber, so that worries me. Cantlay's also been really bad on approach, which worries me. So you can give me all these 2 favorite. And then if Rahm's going to be 7%, give me double, triple the field on Jon Rahm.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate that. Pretty clear that he's going to get revved up for these events because he doesn't like the live events quite as much. But yeah, and I'm not on Morikawa a whole lot this week for those reasons that you mentioned. I think some of the other courses he could kind of overcome the irons maybe not being completely dialed in. But with this course and the, maybe requiring some more distance off the tee, I don't think it's the best fit for him. I wouldn't fight you if you decided you wanted to play Morikawa, but Morikawa and Cantlay I'm largely out on this week. Oberg, I think, is interesting. If everyone just wants to shy away because of the knee, he, in theory, right, if it's a bomber's course, that should be great for him. So I think you stay in that top group. Probably not a whole lot of Xander for me, but I don't have a strong take against him. It's just that you can't play everybody. I don't want to completely fade Scheffler. Rory is my favorite. Obviously, when you get a course where bombing it off the tee has a benefit, kind of similar to last week. Rory dominated last week. I think Rory is definitely a guy I want to make sure I get exposure to at the top. I agree with your thoughts on Rahm there. Oberg, if he's healthy. So, yeah, Morikawa, Cantlay. I think I'm probably out on this week. Don't have a strong take on Brooks and Xander. That's kind of my thoughts on that top range. Anything else on those guys for you?
Yeah, I do love Brooks. He tends to, precurse his major wins with a strong showing in the previous tournament and coming off of a win in Singapore. So I do like Brooks. Xander, somebody brought it up in the golf Discord. If you aren't in the RG Discord, you should sign up. Somebody said, Rory might have broke Xander last week. And I said, well, he's used to finishing second. So it's just a regular old Sunday for
just another day
for Xander. But no, the problem with Xander is I just don't know if he can win. And when you're paying this much for somebody, you want somebody that you feel like, can get the job done on Sunday. And I feel pretty good about Scheffler, Rory, Rahm, and Brooks when it comes to their win equity.
Yeah, Xander finished second and only walked away with $2.1 million. Poor guy. Tough week for him, I'm sure.
He's going to have to give some money to his friend Cantlay. Cantlay hasn't been playing too well.
That's right. All right. That's the top group there. Again, lots of guys above 10K this week, but it is all relative because there are maybe a few more options at the bottom. And obviously, we'll get to those guys. All right, 9K range. Max Homa, Cam Smith, Bryson, Wyndham Clark are at 9,500 plus. Neiman, JT, Hovland, Zalatoris, Cam Young are between 9 and 9.5K. Again, I'm prioritizing the bomber angle this week. I was impressed with Bryson's showing at the Masters. He was in the mix, going into the weekend. Could have gone completely off the rails on the weekend, but he still ended up finishing T6. He's been kind of middle of the pack in the couple of live events since then. But again, if you're putting any emphasis on guys who can bomb it off the tee this week and maybe have a 9-iron or an 8-iron into some of these holes compared to a 5-iron, it's a big advantage if they're in the fairway. And Bryson, these are the type of courses where we've seen him play well. So I'm in on Bryson this week. If you're anti-live, and in fact, my favorite options in here, I think, are the live guys. I like Neiman, who played pretty well at the Masters, top 25. I don't mind Cam Young as well. And, I could maybe be swayed on a couple of the other guys in here, but I think my favorites for sure are Bryson, Neiman, and Cam Young. What are your thoughts on the 9Ks?
Yeah, right there with you. Bryson's my favorite, followed by Cam Young. You mentioned the being able to hit shorter clubs into the greens, and not only that, but he can, play out of the rough a lot better than most. We saw him win at Wingfoot, which also had really thick rough. And around here, you don't have those tricky tight lies around the greens as much as you do at somewhere like the Masters, and that's really what tripped Bryson up. Is on 15, he chipped it into the water. I think he made a bogey or double bogey, and that cost him like 3 strokes to the field. So I don't think he has to worry about that this week. Love Bryson. Love Cam Young. He's got 5 top 10s in majors already in his career. And then, Zalatoris, anytime in a major, I know the form has been up and down, but he's played well. I think he has 3 top 10s already this year, all of them at difficult courses. I think he top 10 at Bay Hill, Torrey Pines, and then the Masters. So if he's going to be 5%, sign me up for Zalatoris. A couple other guys just to mention. JT, it's a home game for him. Grew up in Louisville. He also has 2 PGA Championships already under his belt. And, he's been hit or miss, but a lot of top 12 finishes over the last 6 months. I like the Neiman call. And then Max Homa, everyone talks about his record at the majors, but he's top 10 back-to-back
Turning it
majors.
around.
Back-to-back majors, top 10s. Doesn't have a weakness, so his game should be perfect for these types of courses. So I do like him a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think, he can kind of put the major championship, no top results behind him at this point. Even though he hasn't come through and won one yet, he's saying all the right things. The performances have obviously been a lot better. It was a small sample size, granted, but so were some of the ones. You can cherry pick the stats to make them say whatever you want, I suppose. But yeah, I think Homa would probably be my 4th guy in here. Probably a pass on Hovland. Probably a pass on Zalatoris for me as well. I get the logic behind it, but I tend to run a narrower player pool, and I just like some of the other guys. I don't know. I shouldn't say complete pass on Zalatoris. Going to have to see how my player pool comes together because I don't love the 8Ks a lot. So maybe I end up with a few more guys in the 9Ks in my pool. But Hovland, I'm probably out on. And Zalatoris would still definitely be behind those other guys that we just mentioned.
What about Clark? We didn't mention him. I don't have a strong take.
I don't either. Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty consistent, but missed the cut at the Masters. Probably out for me, but that does worry me a little bit because I like Bryson, I like Neiman, and they're both sandwiched around him there.
Yeah, kind of feel the same way.
All right, and our buddy, I was looking at the expert survey before we came on the air. Our buddy Han Dizzle, his hot take was that no live guys finish inside the top 25. Han Dizzle's not a fan of the live guys in general. He's anti-live, so I'm gonna have to call a little bit of bias on that. But
he's not gonna like my model. It's like all live guys.
Really? No,
he works for PGA of America, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely some shenanigans going on there. He's getting a little bit under the table. Anyway, I'm just joking, of course. All right, let's move down into the 8K range. And again, I mentioned I don't love this range a whole lot. Matsuyama, the surprise withdraw, strikes again. I'm not playing Spieth until he gives me a reason to, and probably not even then. I think Fitzpatrick is okay, and certainly the added distance is going to help him here. Lowry, I can't do that right now. I don't love a whole lot in the 8Ks. Our projections love Hatton. Like love Hatton this week. I think that's maybe a little hot, but you know, I don't know. I don't like a whole lot in the 8Ks. I'm gonna need you to sell me on something.
I had to manually bump down Hatton in my model, and he's still the top point per dollar guy. So, yeah, right there with the RG model in terms of Hatton. So he's been pretty good over on Live, but he also finished top 10 at the Masters. He's got top 15s in 5 of his last 6. If you look at his stats, he's longer than you might expect off the tee, good on approach, good scrambler, good putter. So I think it's a really good spot for Hatton. I mean, he's played well at the majors other than the Masters. And then he's just top 10 in his most recent start. So I do like Hatton. And I like Tommy Fleetwood, 8,700, backdoor, top 10 Tommy. Just feels like the perfect, difficult course, all that fun stuff. Everyone else, I agree. I don't really like anybody else in the 8s.
Yeah, that makes it, somewhat tough to navigate here. And that's why I kind of backtracked on, because I haven't finalized my player pool yet. Maybe there will be an extra guy from the 9Ks in there. I don't mind Hatton. I'm going to see where the ownership comes out on that. I don't mind Finau, but we haven't seen a whole lot of ceiling from him. I suppose I'm okay with, with Fleetwood, but yeah, it's a pretty weak range. Not sure I want to go to DJ. He did finish 7th in the last Live event, but he looked pretty bad at the Masters. Tigala is kind of a coin flip, it seems like, most of the time. So, yeah, you're not going to get me selling you on a whole lot of guys in the 8Ks, and that's leading me just kind of naturally to some more stars and scrubs builds this week, because I think the 7Ks, to be honest, for me, I like a little bit better, quite a bit better, especially when you factor in the salary, than the 8Ks. So as we go down into that range, we've at least seen some PGA Tour form now from Sung J M after a withdrawal. He finished T4 last week. Benny Yon continues to play well. He was 3rd behind Rory and Schauffele. Didn't get a whole lot of airtime or headlines because those other 2 guys were so far ahead of the field. But Benny Yon and Sung J M at 7,900. I think those guys are perfectly fine. They probably could be priced $300 or $400 higher. If you're playing the bomber angle, Minwoo Lee, assuming he's fully healthy now. I've seen some love for Siwoo Kim out there. Corey Connors is always mid 7Ks in every major if you want to throw him in there. But what are your thoughts on kind of the upper part of the 7Ks?
Yeah, certainly a stronger range in the 8s, at least for me. We didn't mention Patrick Reed. I do think he's in play this week at 8K flat. And then I do like Corey Connors, gained 9.7 strokes ball striking last week. If he can he's been so bad with the putter, kind of like Lowry, but he's just a little bit more consistent. The ball striking is just so good that I think he's viable. I like the bomber angle with Minwoo, like you mentioned. Benny Yon, also one of the longest hitters in the field. He's top 5 in distance and then top 5 in birdie or better percentage. So I think he's going to be popular given the back-to-back top 5s. I'm not going to be falling for Jason Day. I think everyone's going to see the 4th place finish last week. But man, he gained 0.2 strokes ball striking. He gained like 11 on and around the greens. He's just been so bad with the ball striking lately. So I'm off of Jason Day. But yeah, give me Connors, give me Benny Yon, Minwoo Lee, and maybe Taylor Gooch. Does Taylor Gooch back up all this talk that he's been spitting out there?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I like the narrative behind it, but
or Talor.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen him for a while, unless you're watching the live broadcast, and nobody's watching those. So, he's got a few top 10s, 4th in the last live event.
I mean, I think he's like 4th in strokes gained for the live guys in this field.
Well, how many have we had so far? About 6, 7. I don't hate it at that price. I mean, there's just a lot of guys around him, and it's just such an unknown. What do we have for him for? I didn't look at his ownership. No.
The thing with playing him is then you have to root for him, and it's more fun.
See, that's the hard part. Yeah. Gooch, 5%. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate it. But this is just such something. There's so many guys in this area that I think are viable that makes it tough. I almost wish some of ththese guys were in the 8Ks just to make the salary balance work a little better. Even if we start going a little further down, Straka at 7,500, I like Adam Scott at 7,300, Alex Noren, who's been playing great golf all year. He hasn't finished outside the top 25 in an event since February 8th. And he's all the way down at 7,200. We've seen Jaeger, pop quite a bit this year. He's at 7,100. So I just rattle off there: Straka, Scott, Noren, Jaeger. You could probably make a case for a couple of the others as well, but those are my favorites in the lower 7Ks. What do you got in here?
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of good ones. I like Jaeger. Noren has been great. Adam Scott, for every reason, just can't get all the strokes gained together the same week. Last week is another good ball striking week. The week before was the same. But anytime you get him on these long classical courses, I think he's good play. What are you doing with Burmeister? Because I think he's going to be like the sneaky chalk play at 7K.
Yeah, I don't know if the sneaky chalk play ends up becoming the surprise double-digit own guy. You look at the live results. I mean, they're better than Gooch lately for sure. 8th, 1st, 3rd, 14th, and he's 7K. There, yeah. I mean, I don't hate that one.
Yeah, one of the longer hitters too. I think he's like 3rd in Data Golf's course fit rankings too. So I think he'll probably end up coming in a lot higher, but he's been great last few months.
Yeah, and the upper end of the 6s. I've seen some love for Seabez. The off the tee game worries me a little bit. Keith Mitchell could be interesting if he keeps it straight, but I don't love trusting him in a major. But I think there are guys certainly in the 6s that you can, throw into if you're building 100+ lineups, throw into your GPP pool, and you could do worse than a Harris English or a Keith Mitchell for 6.5K, Hoagie, somebody like that. So there any, as we get down into the value range, 6Ks, and we go down into the 5Ks this week with all the club pros, but who else are you looking at here?
Yeah, my favorite in the 6s is Danny McCarthy at 6,300. Not the best course fit, but neither was last week, and he finished in the top 10. His results on bent grass are awesome. He likes difficult courses, and yeah, I think he's just a good play at 6,300. At the very bottom, you have Taylor Pendrith, who back-to-back top 10s, and he fits the bomber narrative, so that certainly makes some sense. You mentioned Seabez, typically not a guy I like on longer courses, but he has gained off the tee in 4 of his last 6 starts. So I think he could be interesting. And then Keith Mitchell, fifth on the tour and strokes gained tee to green. I mean, that's so good. You just can't putt. But at this price, how do you not like that?
Yeah, it was one of the first ones that stood out to me. A couple of the other ones that you mentioned, McCarthy. McCarthy's like minus 250 to make the cut, and he's only 6,300. So that's certainly the biggest misprice in here. If you're going solely on distance, maybe Knapp is a guy you could look at. But I'm going to go to Pendrith. Pendrith at 6K. I mean, this is a guy who just won, 2 weeks ago. And then he got in last week in a tough field and finished T10. He finished 11th at the Corrales, and I know obviously that's a weak field secondary event. But I mean, Taylor Pendrith is cheaper than Phil, and to me, Phil is
Phil
finishing.
Just won the PGA a couple years
What's
ago.
that?
Phil just won the PGA 3 years ago.
Yeah, but 3 years ago, now Phil can't finish top 30 in a 50-man field. And he's more expensive than a guy who won on the PGA Tour 2 weeks ago. And Pendrith is plenty long off the tee. He's $6,000. That's crazy to me. So, and I know he's missed a few cuts, but that was a while back. His last 3 starts have all been top 12s. And he's cheaper than Phil. I can't get over that he's cheaper than Phil. Maybe that means Phil's overpriced, I guess. But in any case, that's Pendrith, McCarthy, even Taylor Moore, I think is fine. I don't mind the bottom part of the 6K range a little bit. And that's, I mean, you play two of these guys, right? If I play Pendrith, let's say I play Pendrith and Keith Mitchell, I've got 93.50 on average for my other 4 spots. So, you can play somebody in the 7s, and then you have your easy path to get Rory. I mean, or Scheffler or Rahm or whoever you want. So, if you like some guys down here around 6K, like I had somebody ask, can I do a lineup with Scheffler and Rory? It's doable. You probably got to take one guy in the 5s. But I mean, there's guys in the 5Ks that have been, like Doug Gim was chalk at 8,300 a few weeks ago. The form has trailed off obviously since then, but Svensson's been rosterable. I've seen Jordan L. Smith, some love for him on Twitter today. So there's at least guys that you can make a case for in the 5Ks. Putnam's been playable. Patrick Rogers, Hubbard is 5,600. Goddard won last week. So this is a week where maybe there's 6 or 7 or 8 guys that you can make a case for in the 5Ks. And if you play one of those, okay, so if you're playing Hubbard, Pendrith, and Mitchell, then yeah, you can probably do a Scheffler Rory lineup. But that's 3 full-on punts in your lineup there. So what do you think on going into the 5Ks at all?
Yeah, a couple notes here. First of all, top 70 in ties are the cut line this week. So you get a larger percentage of the field making the cut. And 83
and there's about 20 or 30 nobodies in there.
20 or 30 nobodies. 83 golfers priced below 6K on DraftKings. So basically, just based on the odds, you're expecting everyone above 6K to make the cut because you were going to see like 75 golfers make the cut this week. So I definitely think the Stars and Scrubs is viable. As far as my favorite options in the 5Ks, Patrick Rogers at 5,600, playing a little bit better recently, back-to-back top 30s. He's got the distance off the tee. Ekro projects well for me. Putnam, strangely, plays really well on long courses, so I'll have a little bit of him. He's got 3 straight top 30s. But, man, I mean, you can play 3 6K guys and then just feel real good about the rest of your lineup, or just 4 7K guys, You can just skip the 8s and feel real good.
You can just play all 6K guys and leave 20 grand on the table.
I don't know if I would do that, but if you do, head to head, send it to me.
You can leave a full Scheffler on the table this week. Don't do that. I'm for anybody who might be watching that does not understand that's sarcasm. Please don't do that. Okay, I think that's pretty much covers it for me. Anybody else that we've neglected that you can think of?
I don't think so.
All right. Some things up on my end here, and then we can transition to the snake draft. And by the way, for those of you who are interested in sometimes I've gone through a few basic things with the SimLabs tool. We're going to be taping a video with this week's tournament as the data from SimLabs to get that posted as kind of a tutorial. We're going to do that right after the show, and then I'm sure we'll get that posted at some point, maybe tomorrow or something. So that'll just be up as a standing video for those of you that are interested in checking out our SimLabs tool. Of course, check out our RotoGrinders Discord. You don't have to be a premium subscriber to get into the Discord. Just have to be a RotoGrinders member. RotoGrinders.com/Discord will get you in there. So, all right. I will take over the screen share in a second. For those of you who aren't sticking around or don't know what I'm talking about, we always do a snake draft on DraftKings at the end of the show. So we're going to transition into that. If you are not sticking around for the snake draft, that's fine. No problem. You can exit, but be sure to leave us a thumbs up or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate those of you who take just a few seconds to do one of those two things and help us stay at the top of the YouTube algorithms there. So, all right, let me find a snake draft for this week, and then I will share my screen. There's two $5 6-mans that are 1 out of 6 as of the time I am talking. So I am going to enter one of them here so that I will be 2 out of 6. So by the time any of you get there will be at least 2 of 6 in this $5 snake draft. That's the one you want to join on DraftKings, and we'll get her fired up here. And then once we get filled up and I get some tabs closed out here, I will take over the screen share. All right, now we're at 5, just like that. Did you get in? No, did you get in the draft? Uh-oh, it might have done the usual. Oh, you're silenced again.
Sorry, I'm mute. I just
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe your computer glitched like it did that a couple times. So, all right, good. We're 5 out of 6, so we just need one more happy soul to join the $5 snake draft here on DK. And I gotta find my screen share here. Got to 5 so fast, and now we're stuck. Did you grab the link? Throw it in the chat
right now.
All right, all filled up. Of course, I get the third pick. No third pick. Me 1 or 2 or somewhere at the back. Don't like having the third pick. Tug Rules and D Rich, welcome back.
All right, if all goes as planned, I'll get Brooks or Rom. I feel pretty good about it.
What's that?
If all goes as planned, I'll get Brooks or Rom. So I'm cool with 5th.
Well, I'll probably take one of them because I'm not taking Xander. All right, got about 1 minute and 10 seconds till that starts. The WNBA season openers tonight. That was a big topic of conversation. I saw that Caitlin Clark got 2 fouls in the first quarter, so relegated to the bench for a while.
I saw she was like the special on all the pick'em sites, so hopefully she scored over a half a point, or else it'll be madness.
She did not score, I don't believe, in the first quarter. 0 for 3 with 2 fouls.
Fire up the rigged tweets.
WNBA didn't take them long. It's rigged. Producer Steve will have one eye on the Knicks. Big game for the Knicks tonight after getting smoked in game 4. Looks like they're down a few in the early going, so sorry about that start there, Steve. All right, off we go. Sure that Rory and Scotty will be the first 2 picks in some order anyway.
Correct.
I am going to take Round. Don't like picking third. Could have given me anybody else in the top 6, and I wouldn't have had a strong preference. Oh, no, your plan has been foiled.
Oh, I got to get Xander? That's fine. Just leave me Bryson, will you?
Your all live team was spoiled right from the jump.
I think it worked at the Masters. Didn't I have a bunch? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember how that one turned out, though. I was one of only a few people that had 5 guys make the cut last week, and my team did nothing on the weekend, and I think I finished like second from the bottom.
Didn't everybody have 100% made cuts except Hideki?
Yeah. So maybe I'm thinking of 2 weeks ago. Pulled up the wrong week.
You're like, I got 6 to 6.
Please ignore that comment.
All right. Don't take Bryson. Yes.
There you go. He saved Bryson for you. See, I wish I would have been picking. I would rather picked where you picked.
You can get you Neiman. You like him this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Neiman, or if this guy somehow takes Neiman, I'll take Homa. But yeah, I'll take Neiman. All right. Well, I was gonna turn it to board style, but it's gonna be my pick here. Picking in the middle, you're kind of always up soon. Okay.
Oh, they stole Cam Young from you.
Yeah, I didn't like him quite a bit. I'll take my T9 from Fleetwood.
It's weird seeing Cantlay and Benny on next to each other.
Yeah, Cantlay's definitely faded, and Benyon has definitely picked it up. Hatton, just sticking with it, even though your first pick got foiled.
To be fair, Xander's been in a lot of live rumors the last couple of years. So
maybe that's the he's gonna the confirmation that he's gonna take the plunge.
Did you see the speculation today that now that Rory's getting a divorce, now he can join live and get all that money?
No, I had not seen that yet.
I mean, it would make sense if you were going to join.
Join after.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me dump the wife first, and then I'll think about it.
Splitting $600 million, it would be.
Some hint makes me think that they're both all right, no matter what they decide to do.
All right. Now it's the point of the draft where you can get more risky.
Get a little crazy.
For us.
All right. We'll go with Tigala. Why not? He's a dice roll this week.
Yeah, I had him in my main lineup last week, and I was like, okay, he shot like the low round of the day on Friday, and not good on the weekend.
It's kind of all over the place. So Spieth and DJ at the turn there. That's an interesting combo. Go for Minwoo Lee here. Nobody wants to deal with Hideki.
Yeah, I mean, you do got the bench spot. Oh, there he goes.
Was just the gentle reminder, hey, I'm still here, and sometimes I might withdraw, and keep you on your toes.
2 weeks in a row, somebody withdrew just after lock.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And I dodged both of those bullets, but still.
Yeah, so did I, and it still didn't help me.
Okay, we're rolling into round 6 here. There goes Siwoo Kim. Still, again, goes to show you. It just goes to show you how the live departures have affected your traditional PGA Tour fields. Because even last week in a pretty strong field elevated event, we were still looking at golfers considerably worse than this by the time we got to the later rounds. So
yeah,
it has had an impact.
I'm sad Louis couldn't make it.
Yeah, so what's the story there?
I don't know. He got the invite and he turned it down for.
Oh, okay. So it was his
reasons. Yeah.
It was him turning it down. I hadn't seen that, whether it was him or whether they didn't even invite him. So
I didn't notice it was my turn. Sorry.
Back to the live train. right. I will gladly take Straka here. See, still, we're going to be... Yeah, so now we're rolling into round 7, basically, the last round, and we've still got Adam Scott, Henley, Gooch, Lowry, Sungjae on the board. So, again, pretty deep field here for sure.
We didn't talk Tiger. He hasn't really been a big story, I don't feel like.
Yeah, if that's finally played out, or, just a matter of which round his back's going to act up, it's tough. Definitely made cut bet at best these days.
Yeah.
All right, I'll roll with your boy Gooch with my final pick.
Rude. Couldn't let me finish my lineup off.
You got Burmeister there.
I'm just
do that. Molinari.
I need to see what Tiger's made cuts are. Odds are. It's usually my only exposure to him.
You got a guess? I'm gonna look it up. You give me your guess.
I think he's got to be plus 130.
Even with the top 70 in ties and all the club pros in there?
I don't know. It's just such a different course for him than Augusta.
It always takes me forever to find it because there's 8,000 things on DraftKings. Well, they don't have it, do they? I gotta go to FanDuel.
They sometimes do.
Yeah, I just don't think they have them out yet. If they didn't make miscut. All right, I found it on FanDuel. What'd you say? Plus 175?
Plus 130 was my guess.
Plus 130. All right. I think you'll be minus, but I have not looked.
Minus 190.
Oh, stop it.
No. Oh, wait, that's to miss the cut. What is
Make the cut. Plus 136.
Oh, let's go.
You cheated. You looked at the answers to the test.
To miss the cut, minus 190. Pretty big spread there.
That is juiced up pretty good. All right. And the draft is done. I don't think I missed a pick there. Searching that up.
Michael Block, free money, plus 580 to make the cut.
Free money. Did that go in? Rahm, Neiman, Fleetwood, Theegala, Minwoo Lee, Straka, Gooch for me. Schauffele, Bryson, Hatton, Willie Z, Connors, Reed, and McCarthy for Noto. And those are our snake drafts for this week. And good luck. This should be a fun tournament. Obviously, major with a difficult course. Will be fun to see how it plays out, and if we can get Scheffler versus McIlroy on Sunday, I think a lot of people would be rooting for that drama. So we will go ahead and get out of here. And again, if you're interested, check us out, RotoGrinders.com. Plenty of good stuff. If you grab yourself a premium subscription, a combo subscription, we'll cover all the sports. And there's still plenty of sports going on and a big summer of golf ahead. So for Noto, I'm Justin. And thanks as well to our producer, Steve, for working hard behind the scenes for us. We hope you've enjoyed the show and the snake draft. And we'll catch you back here next week for the Charles Schwab Challenge, I believe. And until then, good luck with all your lineups here for the PGA Championship. Hope you can win some money. And we'll catch you all later, everybody. Take care.